Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Human Design Case Studies. Today we are talking with Jess Bubbico, intuitive medium, spiritual teacher. I'm so excited to have her here. Natalie is excited too because she has some juicy things that she wants to share with her chart. And we're just here to let you know more about the human design system, how it's helped us. And we're excited to share Jess with you. Jess, do you want to give yourself a quick introduction? Tell people about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me here today. I'm super excited to talk about human design. You can find me on Instagram at Jess the Intuitive, as well as my website is www.jesstheintuitive.com. I am an intuitive medium, psychic, a spiritual teacher, and guide. I have created a course called the Intuitive Academy, and it's all about really learning how to tap into your intuitive gifts, understand your unique energy system. I use a little bit with human design and really step into the truth of who you are and what you're here to create in the world. So I'm super grateful to be here today and super excited to learn even more about human design and my chart.
Woo, woo. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm super excited. Natalie, I know that you're excited to cover Jess's chart. So let's go ahead and dive in. And for those of you watching the video, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you guys can see Jess's chart. I will also post a photo of it, an image below in the blog post so that you can see the areas that we're talking about for reference. Okay, Natalie, take it away.
Okay. All right. So I'm Natalie Marie Collins. You can find me at nataliemmariecollins.com. And Jess, it is so great to meet you. So as a precursor, for those of you who are watching, this is the first time I've ever met Jess. And I've actually, I'm going to change to gallery view so I can see everyone. I love being able to see my people. I've never met Jess in person before. This is our first time meeting. I did Google her and found her website, but here's the kicker. I saw the homepage and I didn't go any further. I just wanted to get a little bit of a sense of who Jess was from her website and to see how in alignment or misaligned her website might be with who she is. And then I dove into her chart to really see where her energy lines up and how energy moves through her human design system. And when I went to her website, I was like, like really good stuff. So for those of you that don't know, like all of this like psychic medium, intuitive stuff, like I really didn't know, but yet I totally knew based on her human design chart. And that's what I'm going to explain to you as well. And Jess, I have been told that you are also very familiar with your human design chart. So a lot of this will also be conversation about what you understand about your chart and some deeper diving into it around it as well. So this is Jess's chart. This is Jess's chart. The very first thing that is important to know is Jess, that you're a manifestor. And for those of you that don't know what a manifestor is, manifestors are here to channel in the new creative ideas and to push that energy forward and hold that space for big, powerful things to happen and to come through. So the energy that she is channeling in for people activates and initiates people into being able to take action and go forward and do it through that initiating energy that you have as a manifestor. Because of that, it is so incredibly strong and powerful that it is really important for you to inform people when your energy is about to hit them or when it's coming. And so you have emotional authority, and for emotional authority people, which is 50% of the population, there's no decision in the now, which can be infuriating sometimes for a manifestor, especially because you have the open head and ajna completely open, which is also really cool knowing that you're an intuitive medium. And you also have a completely open spleen center. So for those of you that are new to human design, it's the two top triangles and then that white triangle over there on the side. You'll see that it's completely white around everything. So these are like beyond, you're not here to strategize. You are not here to have consistency. You are not you're not designed to be strategic. in any way,
Mm-hmm.
which is all about being in the flow of the divine, of source, of spirit, what needs to come through right now, what's happening right now. But also when you're making those big manifestor decisions, going back to that emotional authority and waiting out that up and down wave to get the clarity that you're here to have for yourself and also provide for your people. And so while you're getting that clarity on your next move and that emotional clarity, you get to inform the people around you and actually like assess who's this going to affect, and then inform them that, hey, I'm in the process of making this decision. I'm letting you know that this is going to happen soon. And when it does, well, like, you can either join me or just get out of the way.
I'm writing these things down. That's why I'm looking down, as well as questions that I have. So, okay.
So for a manifestor, if people are not getting out of your way or they're blocking you, because this is your chart, there's so much source energy that is coming through you that if people are getting in your way, it's going to piss you off. And that's where the anger comes in, because not only is it coming through you, like, this is energy that needs to move through you. And so people who are not getting out of the way, by informing them, then they have the ability to get out of the way before this gets pushed out into the world. And so the other side of that is when the flow is able to happen the way that it needs to happen, there is a peace that comes with that. And it comes from the place of no resistance. There's no resistance happening. And that's when the peace comes for you. So you know that if you're hitting these little barriers, that there's resistance, where do I need to inform what, and you can start assessing, oh, maybe this person didn't get informed correctly. And then as you're going through, this will be a refinement for you with the emotional center and dancing with that. So much of what as I was diving through, because I get messages too when I'm going through people's charts, I really, really, really just felt that it's not about thinking for you. It is about connecting with the resonance field and the vibrational language of everything. And that's so key and important for you. And like, that's what I just kept getting, was the vibration and the voice that comes out of you is from the resonance field around you. You're tapping in through the incredibly open spleen, tapping into other people's fears, but you're beyond the fear. Like, the fears are not you. Which can kind of make you maybe a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, risk taker. My son has this, and I have to kind of watch him, because like the fears will come up and I'll notice his fears, and I'll kind of like poke him in the right direction. He's a manifesting generator, so I get to like guide him. I'm like, but what if you did? And then he'll do it, and then it's like, no fears, let's do the thing. It's like, hang on. So you are like, there's so much wisdom that needs to be drawn out of you. So you're not here, like, again, you're not here to be the strategic side of things. It needs to come through and sensing what those vibrations are and how to discern them. And then they come through, and sometimes very surprisingly and shockingly, through your voice, which initiates other people into their correct action. It initiates, because you have the channel of initiation, which is also the channel of the shaman. I also have that. That's actually my authority channel, so this is kind of fun.
Sorry, wait, can you say that last part one more time? The
channel of initiation, and also it's called this channel of the shaman.
And where is that, Nat, on the chart?
So it is that red triangle. That's the willpower center, connecting to the yellow diamond in the center.
Okay.
So it's the 5125 or 2551, however you want to do it. So that channel, I was so intrigued by, because this is my own personal authority channel. I took an entire month to dive into just this channel because there's so much depth and richness and magic in this channel. And it is really for the other person. And it happens in your life as well. But it's a shocking energy, sometimes in a fun, fun ways. It's always surprising. There's always a surprise and delight behind it for me. But it can be very shocking for people to hear the deep resonant truth that you have to share with them. And what it does is because of the channel that you have from the emotional center to the willpower center, that's a tribal channel. So we're here to connect with the tribe and then find those individuals that are ready to step out of the tribe and into their individuality.
Yeah.
Okay. I got big resonant, like lots of stuff happening with that.
And I just have to interject here because Jess and I were talking before we started recording, and that was exactly what Jess was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. This is resonating a lot. I'd love to share some thoughts and feelings with you, what resonates when you're ready to, because this is like, whoop, spot on.
Good.
Yeah.
Then the energy moves through that and moves through that diamond in the center, which is the G center, which is how we're designed to love. You have 4 channels through that. You're designed to love through spirit. I think I wrote all these down. Maybe not. And then the love of your self-expression. So you can actually bring people from the love of spirit and into this love of self-expression and caring and nurturing for the self, because you are designed to care and nurture for yourself as well. And you can teach your tribe how to do that and then be able to speak it out very easily for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an awakening that happens within you. So you help awaken people to their spirituality, to their next steps. It's incredibly inspiring for people, and it helps. So you have this initiating energy that I'm assuming one session with you can be completely life-changing and shifting for people. So when they're ready and feeling that out, and sometimes because of that manifestor energy is so strong and powerful, you need to inform them. Like I always state, because that channel of initiation is so strong, there is some of a knowledge that I have with a manifestor dance. I am a projector, so there's this dance that I do with both sides. But I sometimes precursor people that my energy comes with a warning. You've been warned that your life is about to change and shift. But it's also when I feel that they need this precursor. And so for you as the manifestor, you start channeling stuff in. If you have this little precursor of, I'm just giving you this warning that your life is about to dramatically shift and change. Let's do this. You're not asking for permission. You're not waiting for them. It's informing. You don't have to ask for permission. You're a manifestor.
Yeah.
So
I did something, I think Randi commented under it yesterday, that I was like, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. And I'm like, I know that my energy is either like, you're in it and you're like, yes, that resonates. Or you're like, I can't handle you. You're way too much energy and I'm stressed out by you. So yeah.
Yeah. And your variables, if you look towards the head center, there are 4 arrows. Okay. Yours are all pointing to the right. So this means that everything in your life is really very incredibly passive. But you're not a passive person per se. It is being passive in the environment, seeing who shows up, seeing who's ready to be initiated, seeing who's ready for this change in their life, and those correct people that come into your life. It's really important for you to have the correct people, because you work so much on the vibrational level with things, that having the correct people come into your life reflect back to you also the correctness that's for you. And so, but it's also, that's the part of the you're not here to strategize stuff, is you are here to see what shows up and what needs to come through.
Yeah.
So it's actually really good for you to team up with somebody who has some left arrows happening, because they're more the strategic mind and can do more of the strategic thinking for you, like within your business. Say you have like a virtual assistant or somebody who, or a coach who has some of that leftness that can strategize for you, and you're over here, you need to hold the space.
Yeah. Yeah. So many things I could share with you right now. I just literally hired someone to take over all of the strategy and all of the design and all of the things, because I kept signing up for programs and things to do it myself. And I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to do it. Like, I had this vision of myself where I literally was like trying to find a roadmap, and I found every time I looked in, I'm like, the roadmap is myself and my feelings. And when I go out and I connect with people and I have these experiences, and I'm like getting so frustrated that there's no map except this and what you were saying, like I was just saying to a friend the other day, and it's so awesome to hear that it's like in my chart is like everything is vibration for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, the person that I hired to help me, I'm excited for him to watch this, because I'm like, I can't, like, it comes through me, it comes out of me, I put it out there, but there's even to have words to hold the container of what I do. He's very empathic. He's a feeler. He sees people for who they are. So I'm like, take all this stuff and translate it and put it into what your gifts are and channel them with strategy and the look of things. Cause like, I don't know, the roadmap is this thing that I am. So.
Yeah. And just having conversations with you will bring that out, but you're not designed to actually like think about it. It just needs to like, let's just get on a call. It'll probably work really good for you. Let me just talk it out and be in your strategic aura, and this stuff will come out. Record it, go back, because I won't be able to remember what it is.
Love that.
It's just how it is. Take it as you get it.
It's so cool to see how impactful just like knowing your design is, and like making decisions based on it and what you need, you know?
Yeah.
So trying to be somebody else, just like seeing as a collective how we all sort of fit together in the puzzle. So it's really cool.
Yeah. So there's two other little aspects that I wrote down that may be really helpful for you. I don't know if you've heard of PHS, or the primary health system. Mm-hmm. So one of the really more advanced parts of human design, which is one of my favorite areas that I have been dabbling in for a while, is figuring out how our bodies are designed to ingest, take in, digest food, also information, but how we digest things, and also the correct environment for us. When I heard these things, I was like, wait, what? There's like different environments and stuff for us. So with you, and it was just funny, the more I pulled this up, is like so much vibration, really just getting into the vibration of everything. So for food, when you're digesting food, when you're eating meals, you're designed to not listen to sound, have a very low sound environment. So like busy restaurants are not for you.
That makes sense.
Place like big family dinners around Thanksgiving, not your thing. Because, and if you are in a restaurant or somewhere, you can totally eat there. But the thing is that get some nice big noise canceling headphones and put them on and listen to the sound of you chewing and digesting, and really taking that in and feeling in the whole experience of eating, and just listening to nothing, in a sense, and enjoying that experience, and really just getting into like, what's the vibration of your food? What's it doing? Like, you can just passively pay attention to what's happening without any other distractions happening, in a sense, but just no sound. And then your environment is selective caves. So I think, Randi, you also have selective caves. It's really about being in a environment that has one entrance. So like a place, like a room that has two doors may make you feel really uncomfortable, but having a room that has one door, and if there's windows, like I'm in the basement, there's a little window. If the entire thing was taken out, somebody could fit through it. But for the most part, like most people can't fit through that. Mm-hmm. And so there's no real other way in or out. Also think an apartment on, say, the second floor where nobody can access the windows. You just have the front door and there's no other doors going out. So that's a cave-like environment. To give you some ideas on, being in that kind of space for yourself.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So holidays, I mean, my family has traditionally been very stressed out around each other on holidays at family dinner. And I have so much, I can't eat. What I'll do is, and this is just sort of like intuitively, instinctively, I will eat a lot of appetizers, but I can't eat at the dinner table at Christmas time because I feel the anxiety of everyone in the room. And what's actually really interesting is I've started to notice that when I wasn't with family, we were with like other friends for Easter this year. And I'm like, I actually feel really anxious right now. And I can't figure out why while I'm eating in this scenario with a bunch of people around the table, but like, I really don't like it. And so that's really interesting. I do eat a lot by myself. And honestly, I prefer to eat one meal a day, just sort of intuitively. And like, it's funny, before this call, I was sitting with my own inner channel and was like, what time do I need to eat that meal? And it was like between 3 and 4 p.m. And I'm like, great, let's just make it simple. I don't even like cooking or being in the kitchen. Like, I just want to have my meal and be by myself. And so this is really interesting. And as you're talking about the entrances thing, like I am in an apartment right now, I'm subleasing with many doors, many windows on the first floor, and it is unsettling being here. So it's very interesting.
Okay. So you may, if you have like a room, like your office or your bedroom or whatever that might be, if there's just one door and then you have like bigger windows, put some like bigger curtains on it where it blacks it, like blackout curtains, to where it doesn't feel like there's really a window there. And that will help settle your energy a little bit more so that you can be in the environment until you're ready to move on.
Totally. I'm like, I want a 1-bedroom studio that's small that I can like suck into.
Yeah.
It's so funny. This year there was so much tension at the table that I ended up getting. I will give myself stomach bugs, I've realized, when I want to avoid something really interesting. This has happened twice this year where I'm like, there was strong emotion going on and I was afraid to speak my truth. And so instead I just spent the day throwing up and was like, well, this is great.
Yeah.
But it also had to do with being around people and meals and like all this kind of stuff. So I will remember that as opposed to being sick.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that, because here's the thing with a manifestor in their power is that you can actually, I know, I love playing with manifestors in their power because the energy is so powerful and moves very quickly. For example, if you wake up one day and you may have an entire schedule packed and you just don't really feel like taking calls today, you can actually speak out, I really need some downtime today. I really think that this will be a good thing. And watch your clients literally like ping you and be like, I can't make it today. Can we reschedule? Or I got to cancel today. Or I had something come up. Your schedule gets cleared because that's what you spoke out that you needed. And you don't really have to do anything. They just kind of fall away. Like, sweet.
It's crazy. Every time I'm like, I need 10 minutes. They're like, well, weird, me too. I'm like, great. So I love it, but it does take being very intentional also about my energy.
Yep.
A lot of the time.
Yep. And for manifestors who are so you're always creating, and especially manifestors, you're always creating like really quickly what it is that you are speaking out, because that's where the vibration goes out into the world of what it is that you are here to create and push forward and move the energy forward. The vibration itself does not care if it's positive or negative. It doesn't matter. Whatever you put out as a manifestor is that's what's going to happen. And so for manifestors who are in anger or, feeling weird frustration or just not in alignment or something's off, and like there's just turmoil stuff, it's going to be reflected back to them really quickly. And so that's a really good exercise to be able to look and say, hey, is this actually what I want to be creating in the world?
So it's kind of fascinating for me right now to hear all of this in a deeper way than I've understood it, to be like, oh, all those places that didn't feel resonant were because it was not aligned with my truth. So it's really, really cool.
It may also not be aligned with their truth. And something may not be working for them, and you can sense that and intuitively get hits on it and know what actually needs to happen for them to shift. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of where the magic comes into play with your design, and being able to just know and sense. But people are coming to you asking questions, or just coming to you for sessions, like they just kind of know that you're their person and you're going to shift them. But that's where the shocking aspect comes into play, because their magic in and of itself, when it's really in alignment, is shocking for people. Mm-hmm. But it'll come up through you from this resonant, and part of vibrational languaging in getting really into our bodies with the vibration, being able to sense and feel, for you, it's just going to be spoken out. You don't really have to think about what is it going to, what actually needs to happen or anything like that. You just feel into it and it'll just come out, and you're like, I don't know where that came from, but I guess you needed to hear it.
Yeah, Randi, right?
And I'm going to totally attest to that, because before we hit the record button today, we had some technical delays. So Jess and I were on the line together in our little meeting room, and she was like, your dad's coming through, and Jess just started sharing all this stuff, and I had to grab some Kleenex, and it was just so beautiful, because I totally wasn't expecting that message today. And it was that shock, but it was so wonderful. And I just want to thank you again, Jess, for being who you are.
You're so welcome. Thank you for receiving it, because like we were saying before, it definitely at times will not come across or be received well. So I have to learn how to inform and ask first, which I'm not very good at, but I'm practicing it and will get better. But thank you for being open to receive it too. It's very cool.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's natural, is an intuitive, because you hear and feel things, right? And you're like, oh my God, this will be so helpful for you. And listen, it was perfect. So it was awesome how it came out. But I want to give you the space. I know that you mentioned you had some questions. Do you have some questions that we can answer for you?
Pull them up.
You don't have to have them if you don't want to, but.
No, I did have a couple of questions. There was a couple things. Number one, something very strange it's not strange, but I'm finding it happening all of the time lately, and it never happened before, is people keep on telling me how soothing my own voice is. So to me, what you're saying, because I feel like spirit comes right through my head and out of my throat, and I'm having to feel into my body more, because I feel like it just whoop, comes out. And I've been realizing lately, especially more than ever, that I need space and time to process. I was at Red Rocks, and it was so awesome for the first hour. I was I feel like I'm just channeling stuff. And then I was like, I need to go sit somewhere that's not here. at all, you know? But I wanted to ask about the spleen, and you said it was open, and I'd love to know just a little bit more about what that means.
Okay. So the spleen center itself is this really ancient intuition, in a sense, of an instinct area. So the cavemen, for example, had it when you're out in nature and there's a tiger approaching, like this is the instinct to run or, like get out of harm's way. But each one of the gates in the spleen actually represent a different kind of fear. There's like fear of the future, fear of failure. There's different fears that can pop up that are for those specific people to be able to see and recognize and then be able to push through them and not have any issues with it. And because you're completely open, when you have those fears pop up in your system, you can actually really recognize that they're not yours. They're not yours to process. And so you can take a look at whoever's around you. Maybe somebody has a fear of moving forward and fear of the future. You can actually tap into that and be like, hey, look, this is what's on the other side of that fear for you. Get over it. You need to move past this so that you can start doing what you're here to do. And then once somebody moves past that fear, then they can look back and be like, I don't know what I was afraid of. So for you, you don't have all those lessons, in a sense, to learn and get past. And so because of that, you are, in a sense, beyond fear, beyond the need for that, which can be the adrenaline junkie. So say you have a skateboard and you're at the top of a hill, like in San Francisco or something, and you're like, let's do it. And everybody else is like, what are you thinking?
This is so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something that's coming up for me around my work and
Really?
And how this is showing up.
Yeah.
In the way I've been presenting my work, which I'm happy to share.
That would be fascinating. One thing that I think is left for this that needs to be spoken before you share that is most people in this world are still living off the program of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come in with all of your energy vibration, you can sense into what that fear is. That helps to shift them into so much of where they need to get past in order to reach more of their fuller potential.
Oh my God, I want to throw up. This makes so much sense. Okay. This is why I love this stuff. So like, thank you for doing this work, because this is so hugely powerful. Like I can sit and channel something for someone, but to have a physical diagram with someone being like, and here's how this works. Like, yeah. So something that comes up for me that I'm thinking about, and Randi, I don't know if you remember me saying this when we had done some other work together, is that I have always sat down in meditation, downloaded a list of people to call in, and then called them. If I don't have the verbal communication with somebody and I can't feel into something with them on a call, it's like uncomfortable for me, because I'll often sense exactly what the fear is, exactly what the frustration is, exactly where the stuff is coming up. And so like, even I'm thinking about a program that I just recently launched, or I'm in pre-launch. I sent it to a couple people and I'm like, I can feel, it's almost like a telephone line where it's like, I feel the line from this person to me and I feel the fuzz in between and I know what the fuzz is. And so I'm like almost sitting around being like, do I tiptoe around it? And I'm like, no, I actually just need to get on the phone with them and be like, here, let's talk about the fear that's coming up for you, or having that, because I can't. And that's why online marketing and all that has been challenging for me, because I'm like, if I can't feel you, then I can't help you. And if I can't feel you, then I don't know if what I'm even offering is right for you. So this is really interesting because I'm now recognizing, there's other things too that have happened this year where I had a friend going through a lot of fear stuff. and I was absorbing it. I was feeling it, and I was like feeling it was me. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, this is not. And then the patterns that he was experiencing, I was starting to experience. And I was like, what is happening? You know? So this is so fascinating for me to understand myself. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome, Jess. And I'm so glad both of you shared such wonderful wisdom in this open spleen. Natalie said, you're picking up on other people's fears, and how Jess just talked about, listen, if you're not conscious, right? And if you're not conscious of what is your stuff and what other people are bringing into your environment, you can bring that into your own. Stuff happens energetically in a split second. And for those of us who, you know, are intuitive or need to be conscious of our environments or the vibration of our conversations, right? Simple conversations with people. We've got to be very discerning. That's a word that keeps coming up for me recently. I know other people have mentioned it. We have to be discerning. What is our stuff? What is other people's stuff? Especially with an open spleen center. Huge, huge message there. Yeah.
Very cool. Totally. Yeah. And I'm wondering if the same goes for the head and like ajna and crown, in that, like, I've noticed sometimes too, I'm like, I need a lot of like just Jess being here with her ideas.
There's that.
Your ideas will feel like mine, and then I get very confused.
Right. So if you are around somebody who has a defined head and ajna, like I do, Randi, you're open, if I'm going off the top of my head. So someone who has a defined head and ajna has specific ways that they think about things. And there's also a direct connection and consistent energy to ideas and solutions and strategies and all these different things that come with the mind thinking. But when you have it open like you do, you can actually, it's in a sense, there is almost this telekinesis connection that can happen. And you actually will, like, their questions that they're asking themselves will like implant themselves in your brain and be like, oh, I wonder why I can't do this. And we're like, wait a second, is this really my question? Or is this somebody else's question? And that's when you can tap into me like, so are you having an issue not being able to know how to do this? Or why you can't do this in a way? And you can start to, you can break that pattern for them and kind of waking them up and shifting. But it's, the openness is really about seeing what wants to come through openly and being able to tap in and be wise about how the other person is thinking and using their brain to maybe process through their fears or process through what they should be doing work-wise. And you're like, oh, hey, you're not thinking about the right stuff. Let's shift that over for you so you can actually really step into what you need to do next and get out of that loop for you. So that's where your wisdom and ability comes into play in being able to sense into so much of that for the others, which becomes a gift. So the spleen, the head, and the ajna, it becomes this gift for the other people, so, because you can tap into that for them.
Totally. Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Yeah, I love this. I've always, I this is great. It makes so much sense to me. And also, I am extremely telekinetic. I mean, like I sent a text message, a mental text message, I call them mental text messages, to my friend the other day, and his grandmother showed me an image of him with earmuffs over. She was like, he's having him time, you can't send him that message. And within literally 2 minutes, his daughter texted me. And I'm like, oh, and she doesn't text me regularly. So it like totally bounced off and went to another person. But I'm like, I have to be very careful with my thoughts because it is crazy. But also at the same time, what's coming in, because I have definitely had times where I felt just so confused. And I'm like, this doesn't how I know what I feel in my channel. I know what I feel from my higher self, and the thoughts I'm having are not aligning with that. So
yeah,
it's
so
good to know.
That confusion is coming from the channel or the gate 64, which is actually called the channel of confusion.
Cool.
Yeah. So I in particular have this defined. I have it defined to the other side of the 47. And part of my gift is being able to help people process through and make sense of what the confusion is, because once they tell me the little pieces, I can stick it together and create, oh, I see what the big picture is with this. And so sometimes the confusion can be because you don't have all the pieces and all the parts and stuff that happen. And there's this, when you have openness, it doesn't mean that you don't have access to this, that you don't have it. It just means that it's an inconsistent energy in your chart. So sometimes other people will activate this for you, or there may be transits and planets are activating it in your chart, depending on where they're moving, if they're moving through the channel 64. And so there may be these confusing times, or you may be, again, picking up on other people's confusion that they're having. And then you can feel into that and be like, oh, the peace will come soon of what you need, or you don't need to be you don't need to be thinking about that. That's not important.
Yeah.
Type of info.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I set an intention this morning because I had some stuff come up last night, and I was like, I want to show me the ways in which I can love myself and see myself better so that I can show up in a way that I can love and see other people better for who they are. And so this certainly did that today. So thank you for this wisdom. And I love this. This is awesome.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jess, for joining us today. It's been pleasure and an honor to have you in this space. And for everyone watching this video, there was so much goodness. I really want you to take in the goodness that we shared in today's class, especially for those of you who have always considered yourself intuitive or psychic, or maybe there's been something in your life where you know there's something inside of you where you get information. It's time for you to share that out into the world. Stop overthinking thinking it. Stop worrying about what the world is going to say. Stop thinking about who's going to criticize you. If you have, like Jess said, right, there's something like clear information, clear wisdom. And I love how you talked about the telekinetic, the telephone thing. I think that is brilliant. Like, you have a telephone line to people. I think that is the most amazing marketing tool ever. And I do remember when we talked about that in one of our last connections. Anyway, just know who you are, and if you have things inside of you that information comes through, it's just time for you to share it. And Jess, thank you so much for being here. Before we go, tell people how they can get in touch with you and what you got going on right now.
Absolutely. So you can head over to my Instagram is @JessTheIntuitive, or my website, which Natalie, I think you probably saw my old website. So the new one is going up now. The new one is at www.jesstheintuitive.com. I have my academy is coming up, going to be launching next week. It's called the Intuitive Academy. We're really going into the different psychic senses, which ones you have. We'll use a little with human design, but definitely go and connect with Natalie and Randi and get your chart done, do all the beautiful, amazing things and the work they're doing. So I'll just use very basics compared to what you guys are doing here. But really to help you to step truly into your power, understand how information comes to you, understand what your power is and how you can move forward in the world that's really authentic and true for you. So you can, and you can go over to the Intuitive Academy, theintuitiveacademy.com to check it out. So yay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jess. And for those of you watching, just look below the video for the links. I'll make sure to include all the links that Jess mentioned below. So thanks so much for joining us. Hope you found this valuable. Make sure that you subscribe to the rest of the Human Design blog series and check out the case studies, because we're featuring real women entrepreneurs and their real charts to help you better understand yours and show up in the world and live your life more authentically. See you next time.
Thank you.